All right, everybody, welcome back. We are gonna go over the Tarkin Scorch 2-man max raid run at 3.6 million, the R9 tier. Just kind of give you some tips and tricks on how to do this. I'm gonna walk through the mods, then gonna walk you through the turn order, why everything works the way it does, and then after that we'll go ahead and troubleshoot some. That way, if people are fine with just getting the mods in the turn order, they get everything down, they can dip out, and then the rest of you, if you're having problems or you just want to watch and see where the hurdles might be, you can go ahead and watch to the end. So to start things off, let's go ahead and go over the mods, right? So we got Tarkin and Scorch here. I'm gonna go ahead and put my right mod set on. I was testing something, we'll get to that in a little bit, but yeah, so the mods we're looking for, the thresholds that we're looking for, right? These could be a little bit lower, for sure. These are just where my sets are working and I've dialed it in so that I don't have any problems. I don't restart it all. So we have a potency set and an offense set, and we're looking at 310 speed, 120% potency, and 12,500 special damage, right? Special offense, okay? Now, a lot of people always ask, like, what are your primaries? What's working for you? Okay, so to some extent, those don't really matter at the end of the day, right? Because the primaries are kind of how you get to these stats, right? So I'll go ahead and go over them, right? I got speed on the arrow, I got offense on the triangle, I got potency on the cross, right? Those are the things, but at the end of the day, you don't need potency primaries on the cross if you get to the number of potency I have over here, right? And you don't need, I mean, crit chance, right? That's also over here, but that's not something I highlighted. I'm at 150% crit damage, right? So I think I just saw a lot of people putting a lot of emphasis on what are the primaries, when ultimately it doesn't really matter unless you have something like crit avoidance or accuracy here. So at the end of the day, these are what the numbers that you really want to get to. 300 speed ish, the 100, you want 100 to 120% potency. More the better, right? So 110, 120% for the safe zone, and then about 12,000 to 13,000 damage special offense is where we're at, okay? And then for Scorch, his mods don't really matter. I have him really fast and pretty decently tanky, but I mixed around the sets, so I mean, this works for me, but ultimately you just want Scorch to survive, right? And that's the big thing. And on occasion I've won when he didn't survive. I've only had him not survive once, but Tarkin got the job done. So anyways, those are the mods. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the run real quick. So this is R9 tier 7 for 3.6 million. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start off by targeting Oppo, and we'll go ahead and bulk up, use the bulwark ability, and then you want a basic with Grand Moff Tarkin. Okay, so that's your first move. And then when it comes back to Scorch, again, because I have him pretty fast, but you might not, so you don't have to worry about Scorch's ability. The main thing with Scorch is just don't AoE a bunch to get the counterattacks, because that'll mess up with the execute stacks. Okay, something that you might not have noticed right here, I'm pointing it out for a number of reasons, but he just went down to like 6 stacks of execute, and then he went back up to 25. That's something unique to this tier, so that's why this kind of works, okay? So with Tarkin's second move, he's gonna go ahead and use a basic again. We got 2 stacks. Highlight why this stack is important. So 100% potency per stack until the next time ultimate firepower is used. That's why we want 2 of those, okay? So with this one, you want to go ahead and basic on Oppo, and then from here we're going to use Tarkin's second special to gain potency and turn meter, okay? And the whole tactical supremacy, which gives a bunch of crit damage and potency. Now we're on Tarkin's 4th turn, okay? We're going to go ahead and use ultimate firepower, and it's going to wipe everybody out. Pretty straightforward and simple. From here, you go ahead and fortify with Scorch, basic on Lord Vader, so that you go ahead and get that stack, and that it gets the stack so you can rescue. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and basic again with Scorch. We're gonna get our second stack with Tarkin, and then the cooldown is gonna be 1 away for the next wave. Okay, so make sure you kind of mess with things accordingly if you need to. If that turn order isn't quite working for you, that could be one of the issues for you. So we'll go ahead and rescue with Scorch. Now we're gonna go ahead and use Tarkin's special right here, the second special, intimidation tactics. If you notice that this is at 2, your turn order is off, right? So that may be where you're messing up, okay? But this should be at 1. You'll use the intimidation tactics. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day who you use it on. That's going to give you turn meter, potency, and the tactics. And then we ultimate firepower, but he dies again, right? So we'll go ahead and attack once to get our stack. Attack there with Tarkin to get a stack of the intimidation tactics. If we basic right here, then Tarkin's going to have to rescue, right? So we don't basic here. We use Scorch's bulwark, okay? Or the entrenched ability. And then this is going to allow Tarkin to go ahead and get his second stack and reduce the cooldown a little bit more, right? So then we rescue with Scorch, and it's the same thing as the second wave, right? So we use the special, get the potency up, get the intimidate or the tactical supremacy up. Now you go ahead and basic on somebody that doesn't have retribution, and you ultimate firepower, and there you go. You're home free after this. You didn't have anybody survive. None of the clone troopers survived. So you're not going to have to face Lord Vader in the end. Okay? It's an easy, straightforward 3.6 million run. Okay? So now I'm going to go into some of the troubleshooting that people have had, because a surprising number of people have had issues with this run, and I wasn't quite sure why, but eventually things started to come out and I was kind of figuring out what was going on, right? So the first thing that you want to check in this run, I mean this in the most sincerest way possible. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm not trying to be condescending here. But the most important thing that you want to check is that you are at the tier 7, the difficulty level 7 with the R9 tier. Most commonly, the issue with people are having with this run is that they're not doing it at the R9 tier and they don't know why it's working, right? And it takes some questioning because they don't tell you immediately that they're not at the R9 tier. They just expect this to work. But it doesn't work for a number of reasons at the R9 tier. And we'll go ahead and show you a match, okay? So we'll go down to the R8 tier and run the battle with just those two. Same mods, okay? Show you the same mods. There's a couple things that don't go according to plan here. One, we'll target Oppo like normal. We'll go ahead and use our bulwark ability, the entrenched ability, basic on Oppo. He's going to attack back, okay? And they're going to attack. Watch what happens to Scorch. Order 66, takes a bunch of damage, dies. We got down to 6 stacks. We didn't reset to 25, okay? Those are things that are unique to the R9 tier, okay? The reason Scorch is getting nuked out is because we don't have the faction bonus or the hero bonus that's allowing Scorch to survive, okay? So let's go ahead and retreat and we'll go ahead and look at some of this. Okay, go back to we're on the R9 tier, look at the details. Overview, Tarkin gains 5% per tenacity per debuffed enemy. Darkside clone troopers gain defense equal to 100% of his potency, right? So his potency right now is 120%. That means they get 100% defense. And then on top of that, whenever he does the basic stack, he gets 100% potency until the next time he uses ultimate firepower. So then Scorch has even more defense, right? So that's something to keep in mind. That's what's not active. But also, again, I'll demonstrate that he's getting what's happening with Lord Vader's executes, right? So we can really demonstrate it pretty easily. Go in, happens in like the first round, okay? Target Oppo, go ahead and use the bulwark ability. Use a basic. Okay, watch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then reset back up to 25. That doesn't happen at the lower tiers. We'll go ahead and show it at R7 just to demonstrate there too, okay? So tier 5, doesn't matter that you have R9 tunes. It doesn't work, okay? So target Oppo, use the entrenched ability to get that bulwark, basic. Okay, and you're already at reduced stacks because you're coming in with an underman, right? So 9, 8, Scorch is gone because no defense, 7, 6, 5. It's not resetting to 25 stacks, okay? And you don't have enough to get through the people. This is what's happening at the end of the day, okay? So number one thing that you need to do is make sure that you're on the R9 tier, okay? Now, another thing that people mess up with is that they're not hitting the right mod thresholds, right? Now, there's obviously things that you can RNG around and you can go ahead and try. It's not impossible with lower stats. It just becomes really difficult, right? So I have pretty good potency secondaries on mine. And that's why I can go ahead and do an offense set, but you might need to go with a little bit more potency because your offense is better, right? You might be able to dial down the speed and get a little bit more on those numbers too. I don't know what your mod situation looks like, but for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna go ahead and take off the offense crosshair. This is gonna reduce his offense. It's gonna reduce potency substantially because I'm losing 9% and 15 more, so 25% total. And then it's gonna drop his speed down considerably too because I'm losing 24 speed. So this will give you an idea of maybe somebody that doesn't have a huge mod roster, what their situation kind of looks like. So I'm at 286 speed, 96% potency, and the special damage goes down to 11,800. Okay? And we're keeping Scorch the same because ultimately he doesn't matter too much in this. He's just a body at the end of the day to make sure that we don't lose. So the beginning looks kind of normal, right? You go ahead and you're able to go ahead and do the same things. You go ahead and use the entrench to gain bulwark. Then you'll go ahead and basic again to get your stacks there. Six stacks back up to 25, right? So that's what happens at the R9 tier. Go ahead and basic with Scorch so we don't get the counter attacks from the AoE. Now we'll get our second stack of tactical supremacy with the basic. Now this will be kind of where we run into problems here in a second. Okay, go ahead and basic so we don't get the counter attack. Use the intimidation tactics to go ahead and get turn meter, potency, and the tactical supremacy. Now when we AoE, what's going to happen is one of these two KFTs is going to survive, or two of them, right? We're only at 6 stacks, so we don't have a lot of breathing room. We'll use that. Okay, now this is the RNG aspect of it. Even though we took off 24 speed, we took off 25% potency and 800 special offense, we were still able to get it done. So if you're at this stage, right, then you're home free pretty much. You go ahead and dire fortitude to get the stacks back up. Then you want to follow the same strategy even with the good mods, right? So you're going to go ahead and basic. That's going to call Scorch. And then Scorch is going to go ahead and use a basic. And then Tarkin is going to get a second stack and reduce the cooldown, right? Okay, and then you rescue with Scorch. Okay, he's going to take a bunch of damage, but you should be fine overall, as long as he doesn't get Order 66. You have the 2 stacks already. You can special here, or you can ultimate firepower, right? That's what happens if you don't do the second special. And I think he lives only in the first one, so you could have done it if you would have used the special. That's the key here, right? I didn't to demonstrate that there's a chance that they could survive and then you would lose the run, okay? So that's what happened. What can happen in the first round as well, because you don't have as much damage because you're lacking special offense and you're lacking potency. Okay, from here you can't quite get it done. There's no way to take out the third wave. So we'll go ahead and retry. Let's try that again. See if we can get them to not survive in the first round, or survive in the first round rather. So we'll go ahead and use entrenched. Basic to get a stack. They all attack back. 6 stacks goes up to 25. Basic here again. Basic to get another stack. And then we're gonna go ahead and basic one more time. Use our second special to go ahead and get potency, the tactical supremacy, and the turn meter. Now we ultimate firepower, and everybody dies again, right? So this is where the RNG aspect comes in. You see with lower stats, we're still going ahead, right? So we'll go ahead and use our basic to go ahead and get those stacks. Basic again with Scorch. Basic again with Tarkin. Okay, now we'll rescue. So they do a bunch of attacking. Okay, throw the bombs. Okay, so we'll use Tarkin's intimidation tactics. Go ahead and get that potency, the tactical supremacy, and then we ultimate firepower. Everybody dies. Okay, then back to the basics. Basic again. Basic with Tarkin, and he got 4 stacks. And unfortunately, we got to rescue a little bit early because the rescue. But we should be okay. We'll go ahead and use the intimidation tactics. And then we're 1 off on the cooldown. This is where we can run into problems with the cooldown not quite being there. Okay, go ahead and get your second stack. Targeting Disguised Clone Trooper. Don't target these guys for the counterattack. Go ahead and use Bulwark or Entrench to get Bulwark. Then we ultimate firepower and everybody dies, right? And nobody survived, so we don't have to face Lord Vader in the end. Rescue the last person. So it's still plenty possible, and it seems like it has a pretty decent win rate, but you can get into trouble where you're getting some that just don't quite work out for you. And that'll be because the KFTs ultimately survive. Okay, go ahead and bulwark, basic. I want to show at least one run where it doesn't go well, but I mean, maybe that's the thing. It does work well most of the time. So a little bit why I'm intrigued by people having so many issues with this run, because there is a great degree of room for flexibility at the end of the day, right? Go ahead and use intimidation tactics and ultimate firepower to see if the KFTs. Yeah, see, this one survived. Now, it's not too much of an issue if only one survives. If only one survives, you still have enough stacks to execute. Because if two survived, then you would have got 2 counterattacks here, and then they would have went and took 2 turns. Okay? We're gonna go ahead and die our fortitude to go ahead and get more stacks, and then we should be fine, right? Go ahead and make sure we take him out to get our stack. Attack him again. Attack him again to get a second stack. And then the third attack right here, we'll go ahead and get him to the rescue. We'll go ahead and just play it safe a little bit. There's no reason not to. We'll go ahead and bulwark to get some health and protection. Get our third stack, make sure ultimate firepower is off cooldown, and then rescue. Okay? So this is how you kind of play out it if a KFT survives. They'll do their attacks, they'll do everything. And then you have 3 stacks, so you should just be able to ultimate firepower and wipe everybody out. Okay? But you gotta remember, with ultimate firepower, now you're playing the cooldown game, right? So you go ahead and basic to get a stack. You got a basic here, that gets the 4 stack, now he has to rescue, right? So now you're a little bit closer to trouble here. Okay? Now nobody has retribution, we can go ahead and AoE, why not? Maybe it'll help out if Tarkin doesn't have enough damage. Okay? Now we have 1 more turn, so we gotta use our intimidation tactics. And then go ahead and bulwark defense up, and then ultimate firepower, and everybody should die. Again, nobody survived, so you don't have to face Lord Vader at the end. Okay? Rescue, and you're home free. So that's pretty much it for these 2. Okay? Just try to get your modding up about to where we're at in the video. Okay? So you got, we'll go back and show the right mod set. This is what we're at currently, and obviously we got it done. 286 speed, 96% potency, 11,800 special offense. What I like to be at, I'll go ahead and assign that again, is 310 speed, 120% potency, 12,500 special offense. But as you can see, it was by no means necessary, okay? So I hope this video helps you. Again, as always, if you have questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. I'll try to help out everybody I can as much as I can. Maybe this needs another video to go over, but if it doesn't, this is the last one you'll see for this specific combo unless they change anything. Again, this is officially safe, as CG did point out that they are okay with the current undermanned teams that they're seeing. And this was one of the first ones that I put out. So they definitely were aware of this. Arnold covered it, Scribe covered it, and a bunch of other people have been covering it since. So this one should be safe unless anything changes. Okay? So with that, thank you for watching. Go ahead and hit the like button if you got value out of this. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and hit the notification bell so you know when it goes live. See y'all next time. Bye.